Hello, everybody, and welcome to our local establishment. We got our NXT Post Show for Heatwave. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I guess it's bittersweet in a way. For Ed, he's not here because he's watching the show live. So I had to bring a special guest for tonight. So I got my wonderful friend, Ella J. How are you, Ella?
I'm great. It's been a hot minute since I think it's been over a year since me and you have done a show together. So I'm so happy to be back.
I know, I keep trying to figure it out. I can't remember when's the last time.
I
And I
think
was
it
like,
was Battleground last year.
yikes. Plus the time, I feel like it kind of like, I don't want to say it mixes up, but the time kind of just rolls in together somehow in such a way that it
Yeah.
goes by so fast. That makes it feel like it's been a long while, but maybe it's been less than that, but it feels long at the same time. So
I
that's how it
get
goes
you.
usually. And we got Zach always telling us the National Waffle Day and National Peach Pie Day.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Hey,
Hi,
dude.
Millie.
Hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Ogre Lord, for being here. I know Ed is probably getting out of the arena, so I don't know if he was gonna have time to join us like he did last time
Yeah.
for one of the other shows. But I'll let him be to see what happens. We'll see if we get a little message of him telling us he wants to talk about it. But I know the one thing he told me during this is that he felt like he was in an island by himself because everybody's cheering for the opposite people he's cheering for.
Oh, yeah.
So that was there you go. Say I'm stuck in traffic. I will need a link. There you go. I was waiting for that message. But yeah, it's just funny seeing how interesting how the way we think about things, but then we see people in the arena going on the opposite way. Because one thing I felt tonight was that cheering that we got, that kind of support that we got for Chelsea and Ethan. There, that was incredible.
I think most of it was for Chelsea, to be honest, which makes
Yes.
sense. She was getting cheered. What was it last? They were cheering in SmackDown. Just 2 days ago in Dublin, they
Mm-hmm.
were cheering, "We want Chelsea" during that match. I was like, "You go, people!" I was
Right?
very happy to see that. She deserves it.
I was very happy for her because I know there's moments that we boo her because she's a heel, but we also love her. The fact that she's
Oh
there and
yeah,
she's doing what
hmm
she gets to do and having fun with it. So nobody was cheering for Ethan. It was all Chelsea. There you
yeah.
go.
That's what I was saying.
So I love that for her because I feel like she's, especially we saw it in Unreal. She's one of those people like she works so hard,
Yes.
and it's not often that she gets to be in that kind of spotlight for herself, and that makes sense. I feel like
Yeah.
as a heel, she takes that backseat very often. So tonight was very surprising for me in that sort of way with her. But I think the irony of it is we have 6 matches, and the show ended up being like 2.5 hours, more or
Yeah,
less.
that's usually how NXT pay-per-views are, which I love,
Yeah,
by the way. I love 2.5 hours.
very
It's like
much so.
perfect.
I think Ed, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. If I can put you in there. Okay, making sure. Wait, let me see. I gotta change this around. There you go. Sort of. No.
Hello,
There you
hello.
go.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
You can see all the traffic lights.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Rip
How
Oh,
was it?
that was a great show. It was great, man. I had a ball. Rob had a ball. The spot of the night is that table spot in the main event. Though. Like, let me tell you, it's 10 feet away from me, and I didn't think he was throwing him out of the ring, so I didn't bother getting my camera up because I thought he was dropping him in the ring. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, he
Oh,
just throws them halfway across the room. Like, it was a great night. Seeing Ash get her flowers, as much as I love to pick on Dana Brooke, and trust me, if I were there, I would be. It's nice to see her finally be able to say that she's a champion and not talk about the
mhm.
24/7 titles.
That's true.
Um,
I know.
but no, I thought it was a great show overall. It was well paced. Um, the surprising star of the night for me was Tyra May Steele. She was so much better in ring than I'd been led to believe. They took it very calm with her and they didn't have her do anything crazy. But it's that new
Mhm.
NXT approach. New star gets a basic move set. They teach them till it's drilled in nice and neat, and then they go out there with a veteran and do exactly what they need to do. Um, Tavion was losing his mind that entire match as he's trying to figure out why the baby faces aren't being cheered because Chelsea's getting all the cheers and he's just losing his shit. Like, what the?
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, no, he was having a ball. I felt so bad for him because I'm like, oh, my man. man. But no, it was a great night. All the matches had the right winners win, even when I take out the things that I thought should have happened. Alba should have lost to Javon. But I understand keeping the title on Alba, and now he's getting what we've talked about, Asher, before. Now he's going to get that run with main event level NXT championship talent. It's going to be Ricky Saints. It's going to be Josh Briggs. It's going to be another match with Javon Evans. It's going to be that top tier level. He's not facing Miles Bourne. No offense to Miles Bourne. Yoshiki Inamura. No offense to Inamura. Like, he's going to get that main push with those big name stars now. So, good for them. But you ladies go ahead and kill it tonight. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great show.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah, I figure we'll start from the beginning. We had the opener was Jaida versus Lola versus Kelani for the number one contender spot, and the winner will be facing Jacy. And I'm thinking most likely, is it No Mercy? I think the one that's coming up in
Yes.
Fort Lauderdale, which makes me think it's probably gonna be Lola winning because it's close to Miami, unfortunately. Once I saw that location, I went, oh no, that's not what I want. But I feel like they did pretty well together. They had a really good chemistry, all three of them. And this is what Ed and I always say with anytime we have a multi-person match, is that NXT has figured out that formula that there's always something going on in the ring. There's no like empty or silent kind of spot. There's always some kind of action going on, and we love when that happens in these type of matches. And I love that we had a little bit of Lola here with like submission moves, especially to Kelani, and the way that Kelani sold them was really well done here too. And when Kelani at one point did that 450 splash, that was beautiful, by the way. But I hated that it was counter because I was hoping that would be that moment, that ending moment. But having Lola come up there with the submission there, and then all of a sudden we get Jaida who came out of nowhere and hitting her move on Kelani, who just dropped out of the ring the way she did, only for Lola to take advantage and kind of like roll up Jaida at the end for her to win and be the number one contender now. I was like, it wasn't surprising because to me it was between Lola and Kelani, so it's not surprising. And then seeing the location now for the No Mercy, I went, yeah, this is the moment for her, isn't it? How did you feel about it?
I also had Lola going in because I think out of the three of them, the last time she had a World NXT Women's Championship match was last year when Roxanne was champ. I was like, Jada's had a couple of title matches. I think Kelani has had a fairly recent one. So I was like, they've had recent title shots. It's time for Lola to get back into the NXT world title scene anyway. And plus, Jada's kind of a tweener. So, she could lean heel or babyface. I eliminated her. I was like, Kelani, I think, has had a title match fairly recently. It's time for Lola to get back on the world title scene. And I have to say, I know Ed was, not the biggest fan of her when I was talking to him, but I've been really enjoying her these last few months. Especially, I know it's a while ago, but, her stuff with Shayna Baszler was so good. Her stuff with Roxanne, I really enjoyed. And especially these last... I know the crowd loves Jaida. I've been really enjoying Lola in recent months. So I'm happy that I also didn't realize she was that short, standing next to Zarya, and I think Sol was running here. I didn't realize she was short, but that's an aside. But I think the right person went over here. The other two have had fairly recent title shots. Time to get Lola back. I think she is a future NXT Women's Champion, and she's definitely improved a lot since she's come back. So I'm excited for that. Her and Jacy now.
I've been torn about it because I'm not a fan of Lola, but I understand that this is probably the time to crown her, really.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way it's going, Fatal Influence, I really wanted that story of Fallon betraying Jacy and her taking that championship from her, being like, oh, you saw me as this person that's lesser than you because I lost all the titles and then you became the world champion, but I haven't. And I really wanted that storyline of I don't care about Jazmyn like that, but I wanted more of that focus on Jacy and Fallon to happen, and for Fallon to be that kind of person that Jacy would not expect to really beat her, but beat her in the end. So I was always hoping for that to happen. But once Lola won and I saw the location, I went, yep, this is a crowning moment. It had to be Miami, didn't it? triple threats at when 2/3 are actively consistently bickering, the third is going over.
Yeah.
Usually that's usually the one of the formulas that I think about when it comes to multi-person matches. It should be definitely an inside job. I probably won't. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I really wanted Fallon to get it because I really wanted Fallon to win that championship because she hasn't won
Fallon
it.
could cost Jacy still at No Mercy.
Maybe.
And then because I have to imagine, now I don't know how they would go about it, but I think Fallon and Jacy are more than main roster ready. Jazmyn still has a lot of growing up to do. So I think once they disperse that, they could have Jazmyn move on to her own and then Fallon and Jacy move up. But again, that's dependent on Fallon turning on Jacy first, probably. But I think Fallon and Jacy are more than main roster ready. I've been really enjoying Jacy's work. Like, she's been really good on the mic. And I was actually sad / annoyed that she lost the Knockouts title because every time we have a double champ, they hold it for like a month, 3 weeks. It's like, what's the point then? So we'll get to that match later, but that's just like so annoying.
And this is why I was also hoping that Fallon will get it because it's the only championship that Fallon hasn't had yet. So I was hoping for that moment. And like you said, the main roster ready. And one thing that always kind of bothered me about Fallon's character is that when her and Briggs and Brooks just disbanded, she said, I want to be on my own. I want to do my own thing. And not even 2 weeks later, she's in Fatal Influence. And we're like, didn't you just say you wanted to be by yourself and win the titles on your own? And now you're in a group. So
God, that feels so wild. I don't even remember her being with Briggs and them. It's been so long.
Exactly. So I'm like, at this point, I was frustrated because I'm thinking I wanted her to be on her own. I know she can shine on her own. And all of a sudden, the Fatal Influence happened. I'm like, why? You could have just made her just be herself. And I really wanted that for her. So I was always kind of hoping that her having the title will be kind of like that crowning moment and that shining moment for her by herself without having Jacy involved in there. But maybe sooner or later we'll crown her because another thing that I feel like derailed as well was having the Stephanies and the Julias and the Zarias and Jordynne Grace come in. I feel like it made the girls kind of move down a little bit on the list because now they put those as high priority when it came to storylines and titles. So I feel like that in a way kind of
Jordynne changed. But yes.
No. No, but I'll say this by giving them TV time. That a little bit in that aspect of it. But that's my big picky note about Fatal Influence and Fallon Henley there, unfortunately. But yeah, at least now we get Lola, and yeah, I feel like definitely she'll probably win it at No Mercy most likely. I don't want to think about it, but it's gonna happen. Right after that, we had a promo from the Culling, and they keep talking about Tatum losing the North American title shot that she had. And they're discussing it with Izzy. And then later on, they say that Izzy and Tatum are going to go against Ren in a partner for choice. So do you have any kind of guesses of who the partner that could be?
I don't know why. Like, just think because they're so good at facials, like Chelsea and Ren Sinclair would be perfect for each other because they're both really good at facials. But I don't know if Chelsea's gonna like stay down, and she's not Canadian, so is Chelsea gonna want to work with her? Chelsea was like the only person that came to mind. Like maybe like an Ariana Grace too as well. I don't know. I feel like obviously it's gonna be somebody. Oh no, I guess so. Like. Their dynamic is weird because it's not like a traditional babyface versus heel because technically people like Tatum, but Izzy's a heel. So I don't know. I just think Ren and Chelsea would be perfect together. But like realistically, I have no idea.
I'm sorry, watch it be Tyra.
It could be.
Like, not that it's bad, but it's just like I feel like she did really well tonight because she was paired up with a veteran in Chelsea, so I feel like with the other girls it'll be a little bit different. But I can't pinpoint. I'm like, unless it's somebody from TNA that shows up somehow. But
maybe
I can't like right now I couldn't think of anybody that could be it. I don't know. It's like I haven't seen Ren be like really friendly with any other girls so far. Because then that would have been like, she had a backstage segment with this person, so that kind of gives me a clue.
Charlie Dempsey in a wig.
Oh no. I thought of Tyra because maybe Tavion will be like, hey, if you don't have anybody, I know Tyra, and that by that connection that maybe with her, but I can't think of anybody else right now that doesn't have any other ties that wouldn't mind having some kind of one-off maybe, but I don't know. I the only thing I think of is somebody from TNA perhaps that's by themselves, because there's Also, nobody said I'm thinking of like returning from like an injury or anything like that. That could be it either. So, um, I don't know.
Yeah, who has anybody been out with an injury recently?
Because the only one that got injured recently was Rizzo, but
that's right. She's gonna be out for a long time.
Exactly. That's the only one that I know has been out with an injury recently. So I wouldn't.
It's gonna be Nikita Lyons.
Oh no! Please don't. No, that's gonna haunt me now into Tuesday.
Thea Hale, maybe. Thea. It's been a while since we've seen Thea, at least on a big thing. Maybe
that's true. Yeah, I think it could. Thea's a good one actually. But yeah, we have to see about that one. I'm like, I kept trying to like think of options in my mind, and I couldn't really come up with anybody at the moment. It's like I had to.
It could be a main roster person too.
I thought about that too. I was like, who's actually free right now that wouldn't mind coming down just for one match? That could kind of like tie it, like in a way, be connected to Ren. I don't know. I'm like, I feel like there's like, I don't want to say possibilities are endless because we don't have a lot of options at the same time. So it feels weird to say that. But yeah, I couldn't think of anybody right now that could be it. Yeah, I think Dia would be one. That could be the number one right now.
It's gonna be Tatum's doll.
Oh no, the doll coming to life.
Wendy Chu would be really fun, but she's been doing a lot of stuff in Evolve. I do know that.
Yeah, I miss Wendy Chu. I really do. Same. I really wish they were done a little bit more with her in NXT rather than just keeping her involved. But that's another rant for another day.
Yeah.
Then we have the tag team championship was Hank and Tank versus DarkState. I really like the mind games here for DarkState because first they keep going with like messing with the guys of like you don't know which one of us.
Saquon, yeah.
I like how he's teasing them of like looking at them like it could be me or it could be this one, and then he like keeps going back and forth between all of them. But yeah, I like the fact that they've kind of played this kind of mind games, and I feel like this was needed at the same time because I feel like the way DarkState has been, you have them be almost like threatening, but then they keep losing their matches, so they don't feel as threatening anymore. And I feel like they needed something like this to like really back them up. So I'm like, I was hoping that would be the moment. So I like more than anything those kind of mind games they kept playing with Hank and Jack here. I like that at one point Saquon goes to like go after one of them and he just goes through the turnbuckle and then lands on the other side. And it's like the way that just like I gasped when that happened. And the way they took out just Cutler James and just like, okay, bye Cutler, see you on the other side. I like how they tried even just taking the numbers game and just trying to take out the people that were outside somehow, but still trying to focus on what was going on in the ring. And even at some points in the match, it was just Hank by himself in the ring in so many points that I'm like, where the heck is Hank? I don't even see him like in the apron anymore. But yeah, it was pretty interesting the way they kept trying to level up the playing field they have with the numbers game, but it didn't work out at the end. And still, we had DarkState winning. But I feel like they really needed this win though.
Yeah, because I like maybe other people think this, but I can not envision Retribution. Like they remind me of them so much, except they now actually have championships. But like you said, like they had been presented as this dominant faction, but they had been like losing some of their matches. So I was like, they need to win this, otherwise they're literally just going to be Retribution. Be what's the word? All something, all bite no bark, all bark no bite is what it is. Like that's what I was envisioning. Why what? They're literally reminding me of Retribution, except they have championships now.
No, I keep thinking Retribution, and then the entrance reminds me of the Shield, and then the mystery and the blankets remind me of the Wyatts. That's my combination.
Yeah,
but it's mostly Retribution though.
Like, so I think it was time for them to win the championships. I'm just afraid that they're going to keep them hostage like the Death Riders were, and it's going to get really annoying. That's like my only fear, is that we're going to get the AEW treatment of the Death Riders, but with DarkState. I'm still waiting. I don't know if it'll be, but like, I'm shocked that like Trick Williams has not like revealed himself as the leader of DarkState. Like that is something I thought they were going to do, but evidently not, because they have literally faced Trick Williams. So I just hope that they don't keep them like hostage. It's not another Death Rider situation is my only hope. But congratulations to them. They needed it. because they needed to prove that they are actually dominant and they can actually win stuff. I'm saying it out loud. I always think of that. So congratulations to them. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, right now, I'm not annoyed with DarkState right now. So, like, in this current state, yes, absolutely. But we'll see what happens. Do they keep them hostage? Do they keep jumping everybody and all of their matches are going to be interference or disqualification? Probably. And then after a while, it's going to get annoying. But you know what? Whoever ends up beating them is going to feel so good. We're going to have that savior. But they should hold them for a hot minute. Not too long, but for a hot minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll be too long, just because we just had Fraxium as being such a long reign that I don't think the next couple ones are gonna be too long either, as long as theirs. So I was like, it makes sense for Hank and Tank to lose it tonight, but I don't think DarkState would have it for too long either. Just probably longer than them. But
I don't even know who could even like who's even like tag teams right now, like the Culling, but they're heels also. So, like, I feel like all the tag teams that are at least coming to my mind besides Hank and Tank are, like, because High Rise are heels. Unless they throw people together. I don't know. I just don't foresee a babyface tag team right now. Josh and Inamura broke up. I just don't foresee, like, a babyface tag team beating them right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's always what I thought was kind of interesting with DarkState too. Is like, I don't want it to be a repetitive thing for too long, because then it will get super boring.
I don't want them to Death Riders this to death, literally.
I really don't. And at least with Fraxium, it always kind of had those moments like the miscommunication that you never know they were gonna break up, so that made it interesting. And it wasn't always the same. But like you said, I haven't watched NXT in like 2 weeks, so at this point, I just feel like I'm behind on it. So I keep trying to think of like tag teams, but
the D'Angelo family is broken up.
Yeah.
The no quarter catch crew is done. And it's gonna be like a team that's like thrown together, honestly. And they better be some powerhouses, yeah. Or I guess, we have seen like main roster talent, like Kofi and Xavier come down to NXT, so that's also a possibility. But I think for right now, they're gonna just be running the gauntlet in NXT for a while.
Like, you made me think of because at least for SmackDown, I feel pretty much all the tag teams are in a storyline together, so they feel like they're really connected right now.
Yes.
But the Raw division, it almost feels like non-existent, because I'm like, where are the Viking Raiders at this point? Is one of them injured again? Because I haven't seen them.
No, they're not.
And
they just wrestled in whatever the WWE house show was yesterday. So no.
And Pretty Deadly's another one that I know the other one came back recently. They haven't used them on TV either.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I kept trying to think of like more like the Raw tag division feels more available than the SmackDown one. So I feel like anybody can jump into it, or maybe somebody from TNA. I don't know.
AAA maybe, I don't know.
They like to use Mr. Iguana for any kind of spots. So at this
That's
point,
true. It's gonna be Mr. Iguana is gonna be DarkState. Mr. Iguana and Yeska are gonna be your new NXT Tag Team Champions. You heard it here first.
The scoops Maggie number 3 right here. No, let me not spread that rumor around. No. And then after this, we had Masha versus Ash versus Jacy. This match. Everybody here at this point. This is one of those, like, it felt a little bit too crowded for my taste at the same time with everybody at ringside. But this is one of those that, being that it was a multi-person match, to me it makes sense the way it ended, but I also didn't like Masha getting pinned. That's my only like part about it. But at the same time, I know they prefer probably having her pinned than having Jacy get pinned as champion still, because she still has one championship to go. So, but I feel like, again, like the formula, I feel like they worked it out really well, to the point that there was always something happening in this match. There was no kind of like pause between it. I like how all the heels obviously have their backups in here, and we go home like Jacy doing her senton to like all of a sudden Masha's going on to everybody Fatal Influence. I feel bad for Jazmyn at one point because of her top and the way she landed. I was like, this is why I don't like people wearing this kind of clothing when they're gonna get like.
Jordynne had one. Jordynne had a little slip. I don't know if you saw, but she did.
Yes. I feel like Blake tried to help her kind of get up a little bit or make it look like she fell.
Yeah.
Like she made her fall, not that Jordynne fell. I got scared for her at one point until like she like changes to like a power move, making it look like she was powering up. So she made a nice save about it, but I noticed it too. But no, I feel like itself the match is really well done. There's a couple of kicks here from Masha that were pretty like, I don't want to call them nasty, but they looked really like well the way the girls were selling them, and Fatal Influence coming with the assist as well, putting Jacy's like on the ropes when they had to. So I feel like they were at the right place at the right time here too, and the Elegance brand doing their thing too. As Millie said, my favorite moment of the night was Ash getting her moment. I mean, I didn't watch the show, but karma for Ash is beautiful. um, it's like I was saying, it's one of those things that I enjoyed Dana more in NXT than I did in the main roster, and I feel like the Dana that we got in the main roster would have been the NXT one. I would have been fine with that. Her matches with Mandy, I didn't care much about that end of it in her career. But I liked her with Emma very often. I like that team there too. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with them. And seeing her here and her building like the Elegance brand the way it's been so far, it's been fun to see her being like the leader now of the group. She's the leader herself. She's the head honcho here. And to see her winning that championship, it was something that was very unexpected. Like, I really gasped when it happened. It was like, there's no way this just happened. But I'm glad at least one of the championships is back in TNA. President Carlos Eva was smiling from ear to ear because of TNA getting back their title. So why not have it ending on a beautiful note for them at least here?
Remind us the rules of a triple threat match, Astrid.
Man, the no DQ part.
Yeah. Why the hell did Jazmyn Nix and Fallon Henley get ejected? There's no disqualification.
No.
If you're gonna eject people, eject everybody. There's no disqualification. Anyways, I was definitely surprised. I knew one of the heels was winning because Jody Threat is the number one contender to the Knockouts Championship, right? I thought, oh, Jacy shoo-in. I was like, they're not going to have another, like, just month long of a double champion. Apparently was wrong. I am not the biggest fan of her, but I'm not going to ruin the moment for her, you know? Congratulations to her. I don't know how I feel about it personally, but I know she's worked hard, so I'm willing to give it a try. Yeah, exactly. Why did they kick out for the disqualification? We'll see. I don't know how this run is going to go for Ash. I know she's worked hard. She's worked hard for many years. I'm going to give it a chance. It wouldn't have not been my first pick, though, I will say. And I'm I'm really annoyed because every time that we have a double champion in WWE now, we saw it with Stephanie. It was like literally 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I don't think I can defend both titles. I'm just going to have the one. And then we saw it with Jacy Jayne and obviously right now with the NXT and TNA. It's like, what's the point then if you're just going to hold it for 3 weeks to a month? Genuinely, like, I mean, I get it. I guess she was a transitional champ to Masha. Masha got pinned anyways, though. So that's just like, it was like, what's the point then if it's only for like a month? That really annoys me. But congrats to Ash. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, like world, you know, the Speed Championship has barely been on TV except for tonight. Finally, we got an update on that.
I know.
That's a whole other conversation. But congratulations to Ash, I guess. We'll see. I don't have high hopes for it right now, but I would like to be proven wrong. We'll see what happens.
As you were saying about the news, I'm trying to find the tweet really quick, but I don't think I can find it. Oh, here we go. So Ava announced it, and the way she did it, somebody from Raw or SmackDown, so it's not both, it's one of them. So one from the main roster, one from NXT, one from AAA, and one from TNA.
Yeah.
So those 4 people, I'm guessing it's one match from what I remember correctly. So I think it's this Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to double check.
They're going to have qualifiers probably, except for AAA.
Yeah. But I'm trying to look at the tweet itself, but somebody deleted it. We have the one I was looking at. No, I can't find it anymore. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was something along those lines of like, as we said, somebody from the main roster, one from AAA, one from TNA, one from NXT. I don't know if it's a fatal 4-way the way they're gonna make it happen, but either way, there's gonna be kind of like an one contenders match. They officially announced the speed titles are on NXT. I don't remember who was the one for the men's. I thought it was Dragon Lee, but I guess I know I'm far behind.
It's El Grande Americano, I think,
no.
or is it Dragon? Because El Grande Americano beat Dragon Lee.
That's what I thought.
And so I am pretty sure that I guess Ludwig Kaiser is now like the champ by default, I think. I'm looking at WWE Speed Champion Chad Gable as El Grande Americano. So I guess it's Ludwig Kaiser by default.
This is crazy. Why? And the funny thing, he's not even like a part of NXT somehow. So now that title is part of NXT somehow. But they didn't say anything about the guys. I think they only announced for the women so far. Because at least with Soul, we'd had her Soul with the championship.
Yeah.
At least represented the last couple of weeks that she's been. I made fun of it and I kept telling Ed, I was like, so did somebody tell Soul that Speed is done because she's still holding that championship, even though they haven't done anything with Speed for a little while now. And I kept wondering what was going to happen with that. So I'm glad we finally got the news. But she talked to Soul and Zarya about it. But she didn't mention anything about the men so far. So I think that was interesting. But I guess now they're part of NXT, like NXT needs more titles. Like, we need the women's tag team championships. And that was before the releases happened. We don't need the Speed Championship here, to be honest. But I guess Soul's going to have
I'm not the biggest fan of fast matches anyway, because like just saying, like an Io Sky was in a speed tournament once. She's like world champion caliber. She lost in less than 5 minutes. It's like, depending who you put in there, I feel like it's a disadvantage if the person's losing in less than 5 minutes. But that's just
not a fan of it, but it is what it is at the same time. So yeah, it's not. I don't know if I know Soul's not defending it this Tuesday, but I don't know if maybe that fatal 4-way is gonna happen this Tuesday. How that'll work out? Because like I'm not saying it. Ella did it for me.
I imagine they're going to have qualifiers, especially because how do you decide someone from Raw and SmackDown? I feel like they're going to have qualifiers probably, but we'll see.
Because they don't have, from what I've seen in the reports, like they don't have a contract with X. So where are these matches going to happen? A main event, I'm guessing, because they're not going to put them on Raw and SmackDown, knowing them. But as Millie's saying, we do have the 6-woman tag.
Yeah.
So it's
with Lola.
There was a segment later on with Lola, them and Fatal Influence and the back and forth they had now that Lola's a number contender. So we do have Saruka and Lola versus Fatal Influence on Tuesday. And yes, like I said, Ella already mentioned it for me. I'm not saying that name out loud.
El Grande Americano. Ludwig Kaiser, I mean.
The coffee order.
Ludwig Kaiser. Or it could be, honestly, it could be Pete Dunne. He's been masked too. It could be Tyler Bate. They've been masked guys too in recent weeks. Who knows who El Grande Americano is going to actually be?
And I feel this is why they mentioned the girls one and not the guys. Because
they got to figure out who's going to be the El Grande Americano who's the champion now. We'll see.
Yeah, so I think that's what they mentioned so far. Soul's situation, but nothing.
Suddenly, El Grande is going to be Pete Dunne, and he's going to be like a foot shorter than Ludwig Kaiser.
I don't. That thing is just so confusing. I'll let them figure it out. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. So, then next up, we had the part with Ricky's talking to Javon about the title match and basically telling him, if you win, I'm next up. So I was like, yes, this is what I want. I'm like, if you're not going to have Ricky anywhere, please put him either in the world title or in the main roster. One of the two.
Yeah.
Pick one, please. Because I mentioned that with him, he came at such a random time. He had like almost like no direction. And they just put the title on him. Took up the title and gave it to Ethan. And I'm like, okay, what do you have with him now? Just in limbo? I don't like this for Ricky. Come on. We need something a little bit more for Ricky Saints. But
he had the throat injury, remember?
That stupid thing that happened.
Maybe he literally did. I don't know.
Can you imagine them mentioning the Women's Speed Championship? Is it being sold and then have Tyler?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot that they're a real life couple. That would be great.
That'd be funny too. Oh goodness. Then we had Jordynne versus Blake. I'm torn about this match.
Jordynne Grace had a wardrobe malfunction, by the way. I felt so bad for her. But anyways, I think I had Blake winning this. It was basically Jordynne, Blake, Jordynne, and then Blake finally getting the win. Not the best match, not the best outing on the card. I think the right person, poor Jordynne, like she keeps losing the singles matches. I think the right person went over here though, because I think Jordynne will fight for a rematch, and then Jordynne, you know, it's like the Liv Rhea story. You know, Liv beat her once they got back around to it, and then Rhea won in the end. I think they're gonna continue with this, and Jordynne will finally win in the end. I think it was the right winner. The match itself, not the worst I've ever seen. Not also the best I've ever seen either. It's really all I have to say about that. Poor Jordynne, though. She keeps losing when it counts the most.
Yeah, this is why I'm like, this is one of the reasons why I didn't like it, was because this is something that I pointed out, and I hate when Ed is being right. This is another thing on top of it. I think it was Corey, if I'm not mistaken. He pointed out that when it counts the most, Jordynne is always losing. And so far, she's been losing all her matches like that. So to see that happening, and her tweet right after the match too, it feels like there's a heel turn coming sometime soon. Yeah, see, hate when he's right. So when she lost this, I went, oh no, here's Ed's thing going back into what Corey said before. And that's one of the reasons why I hated it, because I'm like, I really wanted Jordynne to win this one, but having Blake in there, I feel like it was a big factor to it.
Yeah.
And like you said, just the matches itself wasn't something like, oh, it had like a lot of great highlights or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, I like both of them. But the match was like, all right. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. So I was like, it was definitely like that in between for me. And for me, the best parts were more towards the end, when we had like the turnbuckles being exposed, and you get Blake with her headbutts, and all of a sudden then Jordynne does like a suplex to her, and the way that Jordynne lands on exposed turnbuckle, and Blake is able to take advantage of it. It's something that makes sense at the end, and this is why I didn't like the storyline to happen yet. I wanted to be a little bit more before they actually feuded with each other, because I kept thinking they want Jordynne to keep losing, and then Blake is new, so I don't think you want Blake to be losing too much at the same time as a newcomer in NXT. So I was like, they're gonna have Blake winning all these matches, and Jordynne's gonna keep losing. I hate to see Jordynne lose at the same time, so I feel like it was kind of like bad timing in that sense of it, and I hated that part of it, and I hate that Edit's being right too, so that didn't help me at all. But I feel like the match in itself, I feel like with the other girls' matches, we saw a lot of like chants from the crowd, and this was probably like towards the end they kept chanting "Fight Forever," but I feel like it took a while for that chant to even like start. Versus like with the other ones that the opener had like, "Oh, this is awesome," and the other one I forgot the three-way, they also chanted a couple of times too. But I feel like for this one, it took a little bit longer for even the crowd to get into it. They happened more towards the end of it here, and I feel like the end, like to the ending kind of sequence, is probably like one of the best parts of the match. But the match in itself, it kind of frustrated me, because I feel like we could have done better and more with these two, and I feel like we've seen so much better from both of them separately as well.
I feel like this is definitely not the end of this. Like I said, I think Jordynne should fight to continue this, so then she can finally get a PLE singles win, because she's been fine in like tag team and stuff, but when it comes to singles matches, one-on-one, the girl has been falling short. I think this is going to be maybe not for a title, but like similar to a Liv Rhea situation, where Liv wins, and then Rhea finally gets the big win when it matters. So I think this is not going to be the end of Jordynne and Blake.
Yeah, right after this, we had a Lash, but it was backstage, basically having this kind of like rub it into her face to Jaida that Lola said I'm a contender, but it's like, I'm the one that's going to end up beating Jacy. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest.
Didn't you just have a squash? Didn't you just get squashed by Nia Jax? Yeah.
But I feel like Lash has grown on me a lot, the way she has improved recently, and I feel like if you didn't have her and Jakara win the tag team championships when they should have won them, to be honest, then might as well crown Lash as champion, because I feel like she should have that moment. She has earned it at this point with her hard work and how much she has improved. So, by the way, as a massive Saruka fan, I've annoyed myself by mentioning that. I don't blame you there. And yeah, this is when we had the interview with Fatal Influence that we mentioned that we had Soul, Zarya, and Lola interrupt. This next match is definitely my surprise of the night. So it was Ethan and Chelsea versus Tyra and Tavion. Really fun match to begin with. I feel like this is something that Ed kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is that I feel like they went a safe route with having somebody like Chelsea be the veteran with Tyra
Yeah.
here, who doesn't have that experience. Her first match wasn't the greatest, so I feel like that she redeemed herself more with this one. Plus, having her in a tag team match, it kind of gives her that moment to like take a breather and really compose herself before getting back in the ring again. But the way this crowd was pro Chelsea, I loved it from beginning to end. The way that she was able to have this moment. Plus, at the end, Chelsea winning and having the pin, taking the pin herself was like that was glorious to watch. I was surprised when that happened because how often do we have Chelsea losing? But obviously, we do it as she does it as entertainment for us.
Yeah.
But for her to be winning, I loved it. I love the way they were actually playing along with the crowd for everything. And I feel like Chelsea also being the veteran, she really was able to help Tyra show off a little bit more of her power the way she did her suplexes. So that looks pretty amazing to me. So I like what they had with each other here. It was funny at one point when Alba was trying to help out Ethan, and Ethan just held her and like holds on to her, and they end up getting suplexed together. So that part was funny as well. But I love how we had that mix of like the crowd being so pro Chelsea, but also the funny moments and having that part of like really Tyra really be able to show off herself a little bit more than she did the first time around. So I'm like, if this would have been her first match, I would have been like happier with this match than the previous one that she had.
I also was surprised, not shocked, because my shock was Ash by Elegance winning, but I will say I was surprised because I thought Tyra and Tavion were going to go over, because then it sets up an NXT North American Championship match. If Tavion gets the win, then he gets like, bragging rights to I pinned you or I beat you, I should get a title shot. I was like, oh, natural. And plus it was Tyra's WWE PLE debut. But evidently, much like Jasper Troy, the WWE LFG Season 1 winners both lost their PLE debuts. So shame on me. I'm not mad about that at all. I thought that they were going to win, but I am absolutely not mad about Chelsea and Ethan winning because I think they're both great heels. They can both be dramatic and annoying so sometimes Ethan is annoying, yes. But he's like, you love to hate him. I just love Chelsea in general. I'm never gonna boo her. So I'm glad to see that the people were chanting, we want Chelsea, just like they did on SmackDown, because she is that good. And like you said, it is rare that we really, first of all, that she gets a PLE match, by the way, in general, and that she wins at said PLE match. So I was surprised, but I'm not mad about the result at all. But now I'm just like, what do you do with Tavion? Because I think that could have set up an NXT North, because he broke out of the No Quarter Catch crew because he's trying to go singles. So I thought that was a natural way for him to get an NXT North American Championship title shot, but evidently not. So I'm just a little bit concerned about where he goes from here. Or he can make the thing like, you didn't pin me, I guess that argument set it up. I'm not mad about the ending at all. I was surprised though.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, like he'll probably go along the lines of like, I didn't get pinned, so I can still get that title match at the end. That's the only route that I can see happening right now, if anything, him pleading his case to Ava. But yeah, right after this one is when we had Josh Briggs go out to Alba. He's another one that's been also kind of lingering around in the world title picture here. So basically the same thing with Ricky Saints, but with Josh in this place. So not surprising that this happened, especially with Alba when he's like able to like have that kind of leveled up in kind of conversation. And right after this, when we had the interview with Ava, she talks about the speed titles and their status as well. I forgot to mention this earlier too. She had a segment with Lexis King, and the comedic timing that he has, I gotta give him props for that. But the moment he's like, well, he can't hear and now he can't see, so I got this. So we're fine with the match. So they're having a blindfold match in NXT.
I think the last time I've seen one, Santino Marella was involved in it. This is like maybe 12 years ago. It's been a long time since at least I've seen a blindfold match in WWE. I'm kind of worried for Miles, because like you're taking away, he's half deaf, right?
Yeah.
And now granted, I assume you can probably see a little bit through those, because otherwise I think it'd be really unsafe. But I'm slightly worried for Miles Bourne. I think it will be entertaining. It won't absolutely not the best match ever. It'll be entertaining, but I'm like slightly worried for Miles, like genuinely.
I'm guessing this is gonna be one of those matches that they probably rehearse how they're gonna do it ahead of
Yeah,
time.
that's fair.
Very
Yeah.
heavily in that aspect of it, so that way he can rely more on his
Yeah.
memory rather than anything else.
Mhm.
But I think the comedy here aspect of Lexus being, it's okay. He
I
can
hope it's
hear,
just
can
Lexus who's
see.
blindfolded. That would make it really
Can you
fun.
imagine? That was so funny. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened to him. Be like, but what about him? And I was like,
He
no, we
just,
didn't
I
see
just
who it
imagine
was.
him like flipping forward and taking a back body drop. He thinks he's hitting Miles, but then he just lands on his back. Like, well, and we'll see though.
This is the part that I'm glad that he's also the kind of person that, similar to Chelsea, he doesn't mind being like a complete idiot of himself on
Yeah.
screen for the entertainment aspect of it. So I'm sure this is gonna be a lot funnier than we expected to be.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me. If
I
that
think
happened.
it'll be fun, but I'm also genuinely worried for Miles.
Yes.
I hope so, Millie. That would make it
Yes.
really fun.
I'm really hoping that's what happens, to be honest. And now we have the main event, which is Alba versus Javon. The way this started, I could hear how the crowd was really torn, and even Ed told me like the crowd's
Yeah.
really, like into it, and they don't know who to cheer for, and I can understand why, because there's so many moments that Alba is able to show off his power to Javon, but Javon is able to, like, the way he kicked him at one point, and Alba just fell in the middle of the ring, and he like gave his face of like, what just happened? Did that just happen to me? And that his expression was so priceless. I really love that part of it. And when he went to do like a splash on the top rope, and when he's about to land, Oba put his knees up, and then Javon's like stops him, and he's like, "I got you before that happened." I love the way he played that off with him. But yeah, the way that Oba's able to show off his power and strength, and Javon with the speed, that table spot towards the end, like Ed mentioned earlier too, that was priceless. I was not expecting Javon to get up from there that soon.
Yeah.
So when he did, I was like, oh, okay. But at that point, towards the end, Javon does the cutter. He pins over, and here I am, crowning champion. And then
They
all of a
pulled the
sudden,
A-dub. They pulled the forbidden door with Hangman and MJF.
and then foot under the rope, and I went, no. We've been saying that Javon's gonna be the one that's gonna defeat Ova for a while. So when this happened, I was like, oh, this is the moment it's gonna happen. I feel like we need something to end it with, like an exclamation point to have people talking about the show. So I really thought that was it. And then the other referee comes back, and he's like, no, he had the foot on the rope. So it's a big no. We had to continue, and we end up with Ova still retaining the championship. STG, why are you late? Who told you could be late, sir?
Almost an hour late.
I know. It's like we're pretty much talking about the main event at this point. But this is the part that I was kind of confused as well, because Ed sent me a message like, oh my god, and I'm like waiting to see what was happening, like who was gonna come out. And then it was Ricky coming out, and I went, oh. I'm like, I was expecting somebody.
Well, he did
new to
say
come
that.
out. Yeah, I was just expecting somebody new to come out, the way that Ed reacted. And then I realized it was Ricky, and I was like, I like this a lot, though. It was quoted the video for saying, the beard is sweating up, happy cackle. Oh, no. But overall, yeah, I get why the crowd was split, because I feel like myself, I was the same way just watching it here, thinking, I like Oba's reign, but I also want Javon to be one of those people. Like, we don't expect him to win over in the end.
I mean, I did. I'm just like, every time Javon has won one PLE since coming to NXT. I don't remember who was the thing against. It was Jasper Troy. That was his first PLE win, like, period, in WWE. So I was like, given his track record, I'm like, I gotta bet on my man's Oba. But like I said, I would not have been mad if Javon won, because he has that great energy. Hello. I was like, they got to do some shenanigans here. He almost had Oba, and then I feel like the spot with the ropes was a little bit underwhelming, because we just saw a similar one play out like hours earlier with Hangman and MJF. So I was like, oh, we're doing this again. I'm happy to see Ricky Saints though, and Oba. I think Ricky is someone who could legitimately have a chance to beat Oba. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't foresee Josh Briggs as like an NXT world champion guy. I could see him like with the North American Championship. Josh Briggs just doesn't scream NXT champion to me right now anyway. Ricky Saints does. So I think Ricky could be a legitimate contender and believable person to finally beat Oba. It just depends how they book him going forward.
There goes CG with the question. Does SGG scream champion? Like, I feel like he screams to me more a world champion, like you said, like a Josh Briggs would.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have somebody beat Oba, might as well be somebody that's, I don't want to say popular, but somebody that the crowd's really behind. And I feel like that's what Ricky has. But the one thing that has bothered me, and I know because I've seen Ricky in AW, so I know he can do more than what he's doing.
Yeah.
And even Ed, who's somebody that doesn't watch AW, so this is his like introduction to Ricky. And he sees something, he's like, I feel like his matches are almost like a template, like the same thing always kind of happens. So we need something a little bit more. And I feel like him being world champion, not only going against Oba, but being world champion in general will help him out with that. He'll be better than Josh, but I want to see how they hook Saints to beat Oba.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's anyone who can really take him down. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why.
I do have to say there is somebody who has beaten him, who is kind of alone right now. Tony D'Angelo. The family kind of broke up, and recently we saw the vignette where he's at the table alone, and then he looked over to some shadow. Did they ever reveal who that shadow was yet? I don't think they have. On NXT. Oh yeah, you said you missed the last 2 weeks. I don't think they've revealed who that is yet, but he has really been the only person to beat Oba Femi. So maybe, and he's alone now. He's a lone wolf. So maybe it's Tony D'Angelo, and they run that back. I don't know. But I think between Ricky and Josh, I believe more in Ricky.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like if I was to put somebody to beat Oba, it'll be between a Javon and a Ricky Saints at the top two right now, the way that's been building up. And I feel like a Ricky will be somebody that will be in a good spot for that. But at the same time, if you have Oba lose, once you do, I imagine he'll probably go to the main roster. Yeah. At the same time, that kind of worries me because of the way the main roster booking happens. So it's almost like, do you really want him to lose too because he's doing so well here? So it's one of those things like I feel like with NXT that is always bittersweet to see because you're like, yeah, I want him to get called up. I want more people to get to know him better. I want more people to cheer for him or boo him. And I want him obviously to get a better paycheck and to get booked and be booked and busy. But the way the main roster goes and how inconsistent it is sometimes, you're like, you might as well stay here when you're at least used every single week.
Yeah.
And it works out better for him at the end, but who knows? I would believe Javon's story being able to take that over next time with how this match went in the previous. Yeah, it felt like a lot of the matches, a lot of Javon being like, oh, I gotcha because I've been learning how you are. So I feel like that's more how it went. Rounding back to the Rocky story, I'm sure Ed would love that. He's gonna figure it out at the last time. Exactly. Call-ups are very, very scary. So that's how it's always one of those things that it's very sweet to think. I'm like, I want you to get called up, but I also don't at the same time because of how it goes in NXT compared to the rest of the show.
It could be somebody from TNA beating Oba too.
I feel like TNA does need kind of like that momentum after having both of their championships in NXT. Like, when is the time that somebody from TNA is going to win an NXT championship? Because I think that would be also very shocking.
Yeah.
That would be nice, but who knows? It's one of those things like with TNA, I wanted to have a moment at least of like, oh yeah, somebody from here can take down somebody from NXT.
Right.
Have it be a surprise the way it was here too. But who knows? But I figure with the main event, LJ, can you tell the people where they can find you and what you got going on?
Well, you can follow me down here, like it says, at It's LJ on Twitter, Instagram, and at Blue Sky. Next month, I will be in Toronto for AEW All Out. I know it's the same day as WrestlePalooza, but I will be at All Out. So if you're there, please say hello. I'm looking forward to that. Got some new interviews coming out in the next few weeks. Excited to release those. But in the meantime, like I said, down here is pretty much all my socials. You can find me there.
And if I could find mine, because I forgot where I put them at this point. Okay, here we go. For me, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro, and Instagram and Threads, Astrid Pizarro 20. If you're here, you're most likely on my YouTube channel, so if you have to subscribe, please do. Hit a like on the video as well. Nice to have Miss LJ with me tonight because we haven't done something in quite a while.
I know.
It's not often we have to have this opportunity, so as we have said before, at least with taking over, we are distancing ourselves a little bit from NXT. This was something that was pre-planned, so and it's not often they get to do something with Ella, so we had to do it.
Mhm.
But this Tuesday we'll be talking about Dreamwave. It's the one that Ed and I will be discussing, so it'll be pretty fun. We got a couple of women's matches there that we are interested of introducing everybody to. So probably we'll put everything in the socials once we have everything worked out of the Dreamwave. I think it's the one for August 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, if anybody has IWTV. But yeah, really fun. Nice to talk about NXT. For myself, I'm still trying to figure out what to do regarding my content. I may just talk about women's wrestling just altogether from every show, but trying to figure that out on my end to see how that's going to work out with a full-time job. Yay! Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat with us tonight, and then we'll see you guys next time.